first sustainability seminar for the year 2019. This is in fact the fifth year that we'll be running these sustainability seminars. They've changed a bit in form over the years, but we're still dedicated to bringing seminars about the interaction between culture, community, ecology and economy. Today's seminar topic is on the subject of culture and landscape. And our first speaker is Iszaac Webb, who will be talking on the subject of Wadandi Boodja, which means talking country. And I like that because it's kind of a pun, isn't it? It's talking about country, but it's also the country that talks to us. So I'm looking forward to hearing what Iszaac has to say about that. Iszaac is the chair of the Undulup Association, and he's a local Wadandi Boodja custodian. So I know that Iszaac gives excellent talks because I've heard them before, and I'm really looking forward to Iszaac talk today. So please join me in making Iszaac welcome in the seminar.
Okay, yes, first of all, I'd like to say thank you everybody for coming today. So saya kaya nicha bara warich, nyurpo Wadandi Boodja, mera jananga nyeri Boodja, jana yan perewa koreng. So we welcome you to saltwater country. We hope that you see the beautiful country, walk across the beautiful country while you're here too. So yeah, today I'm here to talk about the waterways and how they connect up in culturally throughout the area and stuff too. So basically I've drawn a map for you guys up here, up at the top. So this gives you a bit of a description of our tribal areas. So up the top here we have Wadandi Boodja, so saltwater country. And then as we get down below, we get into Wadandi Boodja, which is my grandmother's country. So you'll see up the top, so basically we've got from Gombarup, Bunbury, our cultural area runs all the way up to Jingalup, known as Bunkers Bay. It follows the Cape down to Taranup, down to Augusta, and it follows the Gorbalup, the Blackwood River, all the way inland to Nanup. But its original source for the Gorbalup and the Blackwood River is actually Lake Dumbuyang. Lake Dumbuyang is a songline of where Gorbalup Beria starts. So it's a heavily impacted area at the moment, high salinity, much why our salinity is rising exponentially within the Gorbalup in the river as well. We've got sea level rise happening, we've got ocean coming up, from the ocean the salt, as well as the salt coming down. Basically the only filtration systems that we have in between the areas is around Jijalup, which is Bridgetown, and through Nanup and these systems. So our forests are the ones filtering out this large amount of salt coming upstream and downstream at the moment. But basically this shows you the two areas. So this will show you the saltwater country, Wadandi Boodja and Wadandi Boodja. So the two different countries, but how they're connected together. So they're connected through water, through life. We are water as human beings. We are water, we need water. We need water to survive. We can't last with about 3 days without water. So we need access to clean water and clean living. So these areas here, these are pathways as well. Like when I was saying before, I said Beri, Jana Beri. Beri is like a pathway. So Manda Beri, the Manda Beri Trail, it means pathways. So basically along here, along the coast, our people use the saltwater and the freshwater systems for living off, as we do today as well. So at the top here you'll see the catchment. So over the top side there we've got a Karta Beria, which is the Capel River, which is the Karta people, which is a Karta Jerjet is the mullet. So it's the mullet tribe. They are Wadandi people, they're saltwater people like us, but they are of the mullet people. As we head over into the back of the plateaus here, our family comes from just out the back here, and our family totem group, which is Yongarelup, Yonga kangaroo, Yonga Errol, where a man kangaroo will lay sideways. So it's a place of the lying sideways male kangaroo. That is why our totem is the kangaroo people. That's why a lot of people, when they talk to us and we say we can't eat that kangaroo, they're quite surprised because we thought Aboriginals ate kangaroo. And we explain that we can't, not in our country. In our country, we can hunt, we can cook kangaroo, but we must gift it to other members of the family, but we're not allowed to eat it ourselves. Only time we can eat kangaroo, yonga, is when we're out of our country and it's gifted to us by another tribal group. So otherwise it would be like consuming our family members, which is cannibalism. So even though it's kangaroo, the kangaroo is still our family. So yeah, we see that as that spiritual tie between the animal. So yeah, up the top there, they'd use the karata. This is the mullet tribe. As I said, we're the kangaroo people. We are all saltwater people, of Wadandi people. But all the, so as you see, the river systems up the top actually, like the Capel River, actually separates the mullet people and the kangaroo people as well. So a lot of these systems will separate the different family groups as well. So within those systems, so it's basically giving a family group or a different area to maintain or look after at that point. So like I said, they will use these systems, and that's why everything is today written into the country that we see today. So when we look around, we'll see all the ups everywhere. So as we know, common misconception, most people have perpetuated up as a place of water. That's a common misconception, where up means place of. And then what sits in the front of the word is the place that it's of. So up the top, well, Gumbarup is actually more of a, it means urine smell. When you go up is when you go to the toilet in the same place over and over again, and it makes the real stink smell. That's a Gumbarup. I think it's pretty well named. Until you get down to Yonderlup though, into Busselton. And now after the marina's been built, we actually call Yonderlup on the side of Busselton Gumbarup now, because all that seaweed gets trapped in there and now it stinks. So yeah, so basically, like I said, it goes down to then you get down to Wanarup, and a Wanarup and a Wanang is the Agonus flexuosa, that peppermint tree. So it's where the women make their law digging sticks out of a peppermint tree, out of a warning. So out of a warning and a Agonus flexuosa, Yorga will make a warna, so a law digging stick. So Wanarup translating to the place of the women's law digging stick there. So that's where they would utilise all these sources. So all your different food sources, all your different song lines. This is what's kind of referred to as song lines. So when you hear about song lines and Aboriginal people using song lines, we use this to travel across country. So we liken this to how I just drew this map now, is that I have the GIS database system in my brain. I don't need the internet or a Google or a smartphone. It's because I've had it sung into me and told to me since a koranga all the way through, so I can draw all the streams and everything that connects, the bloodlines that connect the families to the country. This is the way that you teach the children and interact with the younger children and younger generations without over-stimulating their brains with all this technology, that then they won't listen to you afterwards because they're way too overstimulated. And then there's a disconnect from this, which is the country. So by doing that, it's singing. Gomba, gomba, jerna, jerna, bede, gonda, gomba, gomba, borda, bordan, wadandi, boodja, boodja. They sing the country and just keep repeating over and over again until it sinks in. So basically we liken it to when we go to school. So I'm still learning. I'm probably in about year 7, year 8. I haven't even reached university yet. And I don't expect to reach university until I get probably into my 60s or 70s, and then I'll be getting towards getting my doctorate, but I still won't know everything. So, so like I said, we walk across the country and use these waterways, because we say like the Beria, the rivers, these are the country's lifelines. This is their blood. This is the Nyarpa. Nyarpa and Nyarpa's blood. And this represents, if I hold up and we look at our arm, we have rivers all through our arm. These are our vein systems that feed our arteries, that feed our korda, our heart. So we say that when, like the Nyara Boodja, the mother here, the Nyanka Boodjara, the country and the mother country here, this is her feeding systems to her heart. This is her lifeline. But this is also like milk from her bibbies. Why we are Bribbleman people. From the Bribbleman nation. Not Nunga, Nyanga, not a man, not a person, but from the Bribbleman nation. Why the Bribbleman nation runs from our country all the way inland. Because we say that all the rest of the country is a bibby, all the way up to the top here, up to Perth, down to Mandurah, all the way down to the ninny, to the nipple, from a bibby to a ninny, which is the cape to cape, where the nipple comes out, where all the fresh water comes purified out through the boya, the rocks, through the limestone. And so as we get down, you'll see that I said Pibbleman down the bottom. Bibble is different to Bibble. Bibble and Bibby represents the country as a large breast of the mother that feeds us all and wet nurses us like little children. And we all feed off the country all the way inland, from Dumbleyung over to Esperance, over like Israelite Bay, all the way up to Southern Cross, Kalgoorlie, all the way up to Jurien Bay. Everything west is a Bribbleman nation, is the Bribbleman people. One breast, one country that feeds many children, all of us. So that's where you see that notion of Bribbleman people. But down here, we are Pribble, which mean plenty, plenty. So just like a Bribri, but it's giving plenty. And what that refers to is, as you can see, yonder Darab and Kwejap, Lake Jasper, and the Bone Lake above, and Jinjalup, and all the Jinjalup swamps and all around. That's all the milk, all the food coming out the end. So it's plenty, plenty. So Pribble translates to people of plenty. Just like Wadandi is a saltwater people. So, and the people of plenty, like as I said, they feed off this system. And what sits under that system? Yarragadee. All interconnected. All sits under. And as you get further up, it'll go into the Leederville, into the systems there. So these are very, very important systems. This is why you must protect and look after them. This is why we look after them. We must make sure that we look after them. Because we say, like, if you came along and let's say we came to one of the riverways and we're going to start blocking it up. If I had that happen to me, I know straight away when I get blocked up in the arteries, I need a doctor, because I'm going to have a heart attack soon. So I must to make sure that I don't block up my veins or my riverways or alter my veins or systems. Because you must make sure that, well, if you are, you must make sure that you're a cardiology surgeon that's gone right through the country and know. Not just someone who's bought a land, a bit of property, and then decides that because I've got a front end loader or bulldozer I can change or alter things. This is surgery. This is heart surgery we're talking about. This is neurology and brain surgery as well. This is integral things that cannot be tampered with. As seen down at yonder Darab, when the soils are displaced or moved, it turns into pure acid sulfate, which eats millions and millions of dollars of machinery around and stops any sort of occurrence from happening of the destruction of the country. We say that's the Boodjara, that's the Nyanka Boodjara, Barmenwa. So it'll hurt the people. The country and the mother will in turn hurt the people, because we're not looking after the country. Because like I said, we must look after the country for the country to look after us. We're all intrinsically tied to it. Whether you're Aboriginal or non-Aboriginal, we all need land. We all need water. We all need that connection, that thing that we feel each day. It's like the same things when a lot of people walk across country and they feel that feeling for country all the time. So you don't have to be a Wadandi Yonganjari person, saltwater person here, to be able to feel that. You feel that when you go for a walk. You feel that when you love a certain part of this country. That is, I like to refer as our mother. She will wange, Boodjara wange, wange Boodjara, Nyanka wange Boodjara. The mother country, she will talk, and she will talk through her children. whether it be the wind, that mara, that dorga, that wind, or whether it be through the flowers of the country, whether it be from animals, from all different animals, a younger kangaroo, a wara, female kangaroo, for Waruna, and any of the other animals, so fish, jilgit, karta, borjan, nyarang, so mullet, herring and bream, all those sorts of fish as well, anything. Because as Aboriginal people as well, we're all connected to, is what we hope to pass on, is pass on that thing of, that we're connected to everything that's animate and inanimate. So a rock is just not a rock. A rock is there for a place. It's there put in by the country to protect the country, so that if it is to move, Beria river will carve and move it. The rivers are also important to us because we believe that they're created by a waggle. Waggle is the serpent, the rainbow serpent. This one here in Woodichup, Margaret River, is specifically separate to that. This is the only one that's been created by a marabang, by a magic, by our grandfather Wooditch, who created this song and this story when he fell in love with Milian from Milianup. When he fell in love with Milian, he ran across the country, across Nilup, across to the back of Yaryalup, near Jalbaragup, near the top of the range, and created the river of where Woodichup Beria comes from. And that song line runs all the way out into the old man, into the ocean. And his name is Nyagaru, is Milian's father. So it connects this whole entire country. Our other grandmother here is Nandanong. She's buried at Lake Davies next to Hamilton Bay Caravan Park with her son Endel. But all the people are all through the country. But we rely on that as water. As we said, that's a life source. It's that thing that we say that with the other rivers, when they were created by a waggle, that waggle come from Tarayan, from the stars in the sky, in the janda, in the stars, and came down to the land and cut the Boodja, the country, and up rose the dust. And from the darkness and the dust rose the people. As the serpent came across the sky, it made it rain and gave life, which filled the bloodlines in of the country, which brought life, which brought the people and the animals and everyone to life. And that's why we're all a part of that and that creation. And they say, a lot of the times you'll see it, we always talk about a saltwater snake and a freshwater snake. So saltwater snake is out in the ocean. That's the storms that we get. That's when you look at the river, like the Woodichup, or down at Taranup, at Gorbalup, down here, and you'll start to see the ocean pushes up during Makaru, winter time, where the saltwater snake tries to fight the freshwater snake and push the freshwater snake back into the inland of country from its places of creation, where it created the people. But then at the same time, the Makaru, the rains come, where the women have gone to Boodja and they've sung the rains upon the country at the talo, at the rock at Waljin Maya, and they sing the rains to the country, so that then when Makaru comes and the rains come, all of the flowers, all of the jet, all the flowers across the country, the orchids come to life, and life comes back to the country. And they say that when they sing that and they sing the rains and they sing the country, because with the rain comes the Warrigan, comes the rainbow. That's why it's Rainbow Cave, Warrigan Maya, but it sits at Boodja, where the yogas and women are Boodjari, but they give the life circle back to the country. And they say that as the women sing and the rain comes in, it gives Marabara's strength to Waggle, but to that Beria Waggle, that Gyaba Beria Waggle, that freshwater snake. And that freshwater snake will then start to come down the rivers when we start to see, like what happened at Boodja with the waters and the flooding, and the big snake gets more power and starts to push the saltwater snake away from the country, because we don't want the salt to come back onto the country. It has done it many a times over and over again throughout time, and we've watched that change happen. We've watched it come from the old story before the ranges were made, which is known as Yaryarup, but that escarpment that runs all the way up to the other side near Carnarvon, and it runs all the way up. that was a song or a dance, an old law thing that was sung in by the people, and they asked the old men to come along to lift a ridge out of the ground and to push it up to make a barrier, which is known as the Swan Coastal Plain today, and push that barrier up to stop the ocean from coming inland and becoming the inland sea once again, like it has many a times before, during Nyereng, the old times when the land was cold, when it was soft, during creation. So I guess the message is that all the time we must look after the country in order to make sure the country looks after us, and we just got to make sure that our actions, that when we are doing stuff, we consider that bigger picture, that bigger thing that we're all a part of, and that we are really merely only one grain of sand on Boodja Beach in our lifetime. But we must do positive things to make sure we come together so that beach stays intact, so that the korangas, the children, can enjoy it like what we got to enjoy. So I guess I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you very much for listening, and hope you enjoy the rest of the forum. So thank you.